Hello, everyone. Say hello to Mr. Hackathon. Dominic Norton is here. He is a no-coder, a teacher, a social activist, a builder. He's inspiring
Mhm.
others to create the world that they want to live in. His tutorial videos have inspired tens of thousands to connect tools and bring the power of code into their world. Plus, his leadership as a missing person campaigner is reuniting families and communities. His consumption of haggis in his newfound home of Scotland is keeping it weird. Welcome the brilliant builder, the best Norton since Edward, your friend and mine, Dominic Norton. Welcome.
Hey everybody, thank you, Scott.
So great to have you. And you are creating videos, you're teaching people, you work with 100 Days of AI to create tutorials to help others build. So I think the first question is like, why? Why help other people learn how to build?
Yeah, I love to build myself, and I spend a lot of time. And the whole thing with Mr. Hackathon came from my love for hackathon and my love for tinkering, and there's a competitive element there. But I love to just build things. I love to experiment with technology. And what I found is that I'm learning so much and spending so much time doing it, I can just record it and throw it online. And I started to do that. It started to really help people. And then I started to structure how I was teaching and kind of my tutorials a little bit more. But it really just started with me recording the things I was building and just sharing it with people without any expectation. So I would venture into Softer and Glide and Bubble, and I say, "Hey, this is an interesting thing I found," and you find your tribe when you share what you're working on.
Yeah, I love that. Encouraging
Yeah,
people to share the journey, right? Because you don't have
yeah,
to be an expert to start sharing. And I
yeah.
wonder about that. You have great videos on YouTube and TikTok, and it doesn't seem like the learning is the hard part, right? Like we can find ways to learn. So why
Yeah.
aren't people building? What's the barrier to get people started and going?
I you said what's the barrier to for
Yeah, like
people to get going?
why aren't people who
I
watch your videos all building?
I think the barrier is kind of the way I view building is as an artistic process, as a creative process. I don't concern myself too much, 80% of the time, with monetizing and commercializing. I do have that hat, but most of the time when I'm tinkering, I'm just tinkering. I'm experimenting. I'm having fun. I'm not worrying about best practices of databases or UI standards. I just want to make nice things that I can enjoy and maybe show my friends, show my close family, and say, "Hey, look at this cool thing I made." And that's when, for me, the most beautiful ideas come out when you're just making stuff you love to make. And the barrier is sometimes people are so focused on creating that amazing business idea that's going to make them bazillion pounds or bazillion dollars, whatever currency that you want, that it actually stops you getting into that creative flow.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I know you had some examples pulled
Yeah,
up, so maybe show us,
yeah,
some of the cool stuff
yeah,
you've built that have gotten you
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, they're all very varied. So I will show you some older projects and come to and kind of finish off in a newer project that I'm playing with Chip. So I will screen, share my entire screen. But this project is called missingblackpeople.com, and missing people is a issue all across the world. But especially this initiative and this campaign was focused in the UK, where there are disparities when it comes to minority communities in the United Kingdom. And on Twitter, there was a lot of outrage about it. There's some very high profile cases within the last couple of years that didn't really get media attention. And I said, hey, like I have these skills. I want to put them to use for some social good. People were saying that they wanted more attention around appeals. They wanted some kind of centralized database. And I said, hey, I can make that. That's no issue. And that's the beauty about no code. That's the beauty about being someone that hacks stuff together that in a weekend, in a week, in a month, you can create solutions that are impactful. And this project led to a charity being formed and campaigning for changes in policy making. We have worked with bigger charities and we worked with local police forces on changes in the way that their cases are managed and the cases are run. We do a lot of media attention and bring a lot of media attention to a lot of the campaigns that might be local without us. We can bring it to a regional and national stage. And that really just came out of seeing an issue, using technology to amplify the problem and create a project around the issue. And people really gravitated to something they can really see in one centralized place.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And so this was something you heard online, people asking for, and you just
Yeah,
raised your hand and said, well, I'll build it.
yeah, yeah. So people they had lots of questions. They wanted to know more data. We do actually have a tab here. We can go to statistics. You can see different statistics and the sources. You can see the research. We actually do research too with some of our partners. We did a petition. So you can see the petition we did here, and maybe let's see. Yep, it's still up. So we had 21,000 signatures in the campaign we ran. And we have a WhatsApp community, and you can also report a missing person, and we'll help support you with your campaign.
That's amazing. What a cool
Yeah,
use case. And I love how it's connecting tools, right? Like leveraging WhatsApp, leveraging a petition site. Like you can really direct traffic and not have to rebuild the
exactly,
wheel, just kind of leverage technology that's
exactly.
out
And
there.
I highly recommend having everybody have, and it is hard to manage. So I say this with the disclaimer that I do think it's slightly unrealistic for everybody to have some kind of social impact project. But even if it's low, it doesn't have to be national like mine is or international. It could be local. There is some issue you're passionate about that you can use your no-code skills or your technology skills to help, especially in social impact spaces. There is a big technology gap. So what may seem like a small thing to us is a big thing to a local charity.
Yeah, no, that's great. All
Yeah.
right, well, show us another example. You got a
Yeah,
wide
so
range
I
here.
have something that's a little bit more fun. It's a Chrome extension, again, built with no code, built with a tool called Builder. It's called Crypto Scam Detector, and I actually built it in 21, so we're in 24 now, 2021, and it is for detecting fraudulent cryptocurrency websites. So there is a lot going on in the back end. So the back end is pulling data from CoinMarketCap and it's verifying the current website tab you're on. And if it's in CoinMarketCap's database, it says, hey, this site is safe. If it's not in the database, it says, hey, this site might be unsafe. So we are going to visit, let's say, bitcoin.org. So very straightforward. Obviously, this site is safe. But if we actually go and visit bitcoin.com, this is not the official site. And this website has not been verified. And again, it's pulling data from CoinMarketCap. In the same
Yeah.
theme of just being creative and being artistic, there's another project that I made. It's in the Google Play Store. It's called Love Letter, Leetr, and it's using AI to generate love letters. So what you can do is you can say, "Hey, I want to create a Tinder message." And I want the tone to be flirt. Oh, I selected intellectual, but let's just say flirty. And you enter some context. Let's say the context is, I don't know. I think you look great. That's really boring, but hopefully AI is going to jazz it up a little bit. We wait some time, and then you can actually see, hey there, couldn't help but notice your photos radiate with a kind of beauty that's more than just skin deep. Do you think we could spark a conversation that's as delightful as your smile? A little bit cheesy, but still where you want to paste it. I never recommend that with AI. With AI, you use it as a thought partner and not just copy and paste. But I'm sure there's going to be people that would love that feature.
That's an amazing tool. I love it. So simple too. Just immediately get it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's several different brokers. So I showed you a Chrome extension. I showed you an app made with no code. I showed you a regular web app,
And what I've been really toying around more recently is kind of these GPT wrappers, especially built with Chip. So what I love about Chip, and one of the reasons I create courses and content around it now, is that it can pull, for those that are not familiar with OpenAI or some other platforms, they kind of lock you into that ecosystem. Chip allows you to integrate directly with the assistant API, so you can build wrappers, you can build AI assistants outside of the open AI ecosystem, and it allows you to do, there's really interesting features that allow you to do really cool things. One of the things I love is the sign up functionality. Um, I'm a former product manager, and as a product manager, I want to be able to speak to the users that are interacting with the product. But with OpenAI, I don't know who's interacting with the product. I can see the metrics, but I can't contact the users. I can't re-engage them. I can't run marketing campaigns. And Chip allows me to do that because it allows me to capture their emails. So there is something that I'm working on that I think is really interesting. So it's a AI sports psychologist for injured athletes. I played basketball at a relatively high level, still play here and there now. But injury is always an issue, even if you're not playing at a high level and you just work out at the gym. Injury is plaguing everybody. And the hardest part of recovering from an injury is actually the mental side. It's not the physical side. So if you're a professional athlete, you're worried about losing your contract, losing your spot on the team. You're worried about what the fans are saying, and lots of different things related to your injury, which are going to actually hinder your progress to fully recovering. And this is an AI assistant that helps you to expedite that process.
And
So you
tell
can
me,
see in the
so with the
corner,
name,
creating
well
ship.
form. So tell us a little bit about that. Obviously, that ties into what you're building.
Yeah, so interesting. So this is just me. My names are not. I know you have some companies. Their names, there's a huge backstory to the name, but you can see with some of these projects that I have. I have love letter spelt a little bit differently. Crypto scam detector that detects crypto scams. Missing black people. So I'm not exactly original when it comes to the names, and actually this name well form is more likely to change to something that is more obvious
Yeah,
in what it actually does. I typically want people to hear the name and they're like, oh, I kind of get what it does and like the value it can bring
sure.
as soon as they hear the name. And also that also helps SEO too.
Yeah.
So you can see here again, this is all in chip. I have my instructions developed in the OpenAI platform. It's interacting with the assistant API, and it's saying what sport are you involved with. I play basketball, so I'm going to say basketball, and it takes that into consideration when it's providing assistance and advice. And it says what type of injury. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not injured, but let's just say knee. I have no idea. That's not really specific, but we'll just run with it.
Yeah. What a great use case, though. This is fascinating. So it's like triage before you go to the doctor or the physical therapist. You can kind of take care of yourself.
Exactly. And this is this is specifically in the wellness space. And I believe we're going to see more and more of this, especially as devices get smarter and we get smarter with data. If we think about our health and wellness data, I'm not sure what apps the audience have. I have several apps for MyFitnessPal for where I track my food. I have Heavy for my like weightlifting routines. I have different apps, and not including data that's stored with the doctors. I think as time goes on, the way we think about our personal data and where that's actually stored and centralized is going to improve. And this is kind of what I'm banking on when it comes to well form. That and I'm focused on athletes, but the bigger use case is, let's say somebody is recovering from cancer, or somebody's a veteran and they're recovering from an injury at war. Yes, there's the physical rehabilitation side of it, but it's the mental side that I want to continuously help and support. and I want to integrate all the data that they have related to that and use that with the AI to help support them mentally. And this is where I think a lot of AI assistants are going to go, especially personal AI assistants. I think that our data in our personal lives is going to be more centralized and controlled by us. At least I hope it is. And that's when the assistants are really, that's when personal assistants are going to become really, really powerful.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously, like at Chip, that's kind of something we're banking on, right? Is people won't want to just
Yeah.
use OpenAI. They'll want to be able to go to wherever platform or put it wherever they want. Yeah, I think that's a really good. And so tell me, you've had a lot of experience in the no code space building things. So now you're in AI. Tell me what AI changes. Like, what does this mean for builders and for people like you?
Yeah. I tweeted this the other day. So I said the internet, the internet in its inception totally changed distribution for companies worldwide. If you, and I'm sure many people will, oh, we don't know the age of the audience, but you had Blockbuster, you had Nokia, you had Kodak, you had lots of companies that died because they couldn't adapt with just the internet being a thing, and it changed distribution. And I think AI is going to change operations. So here I'm using AI for delivery of services in terms of operations, but I think it's going to fundamentally change operations across every single industry. That's not just internally, how you manage a company internally, but how you deliver a product or service externally, which I'm doing here with Whirlpool.
That's amazing. Well, tell me, you are, I would call you an indie builder, right? Like you're doing
Yeah,
things
yeah,
on your own. So tell
yeah,
me, why are you an indie builder rather than going to a
yeah,
company or, working in a big organization, which you obviously
yeah,
could. So what's kind of
yeah.
the thought of staying on your own?
I think it's just the my personal career trajectory. I actually have had corporate roles. I started in corporate working in the US. I do actually like, funny enough, there's lots of entrepreneurs that talk about a disdain for corporate. I do not have no disdain for corporate. I love this the state. I love the stability. I love knowing that I'm going to have money every month, and especially the companies I worked at where they have food and they have a gym and they have everything you need. I love all of that. But when it comes to the creative side, which is one of the things I first mentioned, I don't get that same creative freedom inside the big corporate structure. And then on the flip side, I've also worked at startups, and startups, you're kind of doing a little bit of everything, which you are doing as an indie maker, but you're still doing a little bit of everything for someone else. Like the CEO is still pushing the direction of the product. And I still, as a creative, when it comes to the creative and product, I still like to push the direction of the product. And this is the stage I'm at.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, tell us as we close here, what's next on your list? What's the next thing you're going to be hacking on trying to build?
I'm not sure if there's another project that I'm going to start. As you see, there's lots of tabs I have open, lots of projects that I find interesting. But I have been experimenting with Wellform. It right now it seems like a B2C application, but my go-to-market strategy is actually more B2B. It's more
Mhm.
trying to get teams to adopt it rather than individual athletes. Even though right now I do speak to individual athletes for product feedback, the go-to-market strategy is with teams. With Crypto Scam Detector, I have a little over 100 users. My goal is to actually try and get that to skyrocket to 1,000, 10,000, and sell it off.
Mhm.
Develop lots of value, get a really nice product, and then find a company that can take it to heights that I probably couldn't take it to. Um, Same with Love Letter. I think there's lots of these micro sasses that are really, really interesting. And I typically like to take it to a certain stage, and I do want to see it grow, but I don't necessarily think I'm best suited to take it to like a gigantic company. I
Yeah.
think this stage all of these projects are at is where I thrive at the most. Taking
Yeah.
something I might have seen on Twitter, commercializing it, and like taking it from zero to a certain point, and then letting someone else grow it to like a huge company.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I know a lot of people use sites like MicroAcquire or others.
Yeah,
Is that kind of what you do, or what is when you say you want to maybe sell it to someone? Is it a
yeah.
personal connection, or how do you put that in action?
Yeah, yeah. Micro acquire would be one strategy. So, and these are the communities I'm in. For many people might not know what indie hackers is. There's a great website called indie. I think it's indiehacker.com. I don't think it's indiehackers.com. I think it's indiehacker.com. Micro acquire. I think it might be named Acquire now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is
Yep.
it? Yeah, is a site that people sell SaaS businesses. So Love Letter is one of the reasons this is. If we go here, one of the reasons this is paid for right now, because when you try to sell a SaaS business, they're going to look at your monthly recurring revenue, and they're
Hmm.
going to look at certain key metrics. Yeah, you can have a free application and thousands of users, but the best buyers are going to look for projects and SaaS companies that are already generating revenue, and then they're going to add the multiples to it, and that is how you come. There's other metrics that come into play, but that is how you come to the valuation.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, it's been
Yeah,
so cool to see how you work, Dominic. If you want to
yeah,
connect with him, look for Mr. Hackathon on all the social channels. Love his
yeah.
YouTube videos, and you can go check out some of these apps he's building. We can't wait to see what you build next, and we'll be sharing it. So thanks for taking a little time and walking us through how indie builder spends their time building the future of the world they want to live in. So great to have you, Dominic.